We do have quorum and it's 5:30. Do we want to give Anjali one more minute or maybe we'll?
It's up to you, Chair. We do have quorum, as you noted.
Yep.
So
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and get started and I'm sure she'll join pretty quickly, so. So it's 5:30, we have a quorum. I'm gonna call the Madison Planning Commission meeting for December 16th to order. Our technical facilitator has some conflicts tonight, so we will skip the technical facilitator discussion or intro from Jesse. He will be able to manage the speakers for us. And with our first item on the agenda is our time for public comment. I think we don't have any registrants for public comment, correct?
that's correct. We'll just note that you have received some additional public comments that were posted to your agenda from prior meetings.
Thanks. Yeah, and yes, and we'll take note of those. Thank you for posting those. The next item is disclosures and recusals. Members of the Plan Commission should make any required disclosures or recusals under the city's ethics code. Does anyone have any disclosures or recusals for tonight's meeting that they need to share? Right. Seeing none, we'll move to our next item, which is approval of the minutes for our last meeting on December 2nd. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to the minutes that were shared based on our last meeting? All right, I'm seeing those raised hands. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the December 2nd, 2024 minutes? Alder Ugair, thank you. Commissioner Solheim, thank you for seconding that motion. Any discussion on the motion? And seeing, thank you, Alder Duncan.
I would just like to be abstain from the, that wasn't here last time.
Thank you. So other than Alder Duncan's abstention, is there any other objection to unanimous approval for unanimous approval for last meeting's minutes? All right, we will pass that. We will record that motion as passed by the commission with one abstention as noted. Next, we have our schedule of meetings. And as we have noticed, we have a little bit of a break and we have virtual meetings scheduled for Monday, January 13th, Monday, February 3rd, and 17th, all at 5:30 p.m. And those are virtual meetings. And then we can talk about our special meeting when we get back together in January.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I believe that first special meeting is February 13th, if you want to.
Oh, yep. Thank you. I do have that. All right, thank you. So we can move to our public hearings. We have 3 proposed consent items, which is also the open items or the open public hearings on our agenda. So our full agenda would be on consent based on our preliminary analysis. And I'll kind of read the intro for that. It's been the custom of the Plan Commission to remove from the agenda those items on which staff believes an application has been sufficiently reviewed to support approval with all of the conditions placed upon it by the various city departments, and in which the applicant accepts those conditions, and there are no individuals who have registered to speak in opposition to the items. And so the items proposed for our consent agenda for tonight are item 2, item 3, and item 4. So I would ask the commission, of those items that are before us on the consent agenda, are there any requests from the commissioners for separation? And if not, I will read those agenda items into our record. All right. People seem comfortable with the consent agenda, so that's good. I will read those. Item 2 is Legistar 85834. for 4845 Tradewinds Parkway in Alder District 16. And this is consideration of a conditional use in the Industrial Limited District for indoor recreation, consideration of a conditional use in the Industrial Limited District for outdoor recreation, and consideration of a conditional use in the Industrial Limited District for a restaurant tavern, all to allow construction of an indoor recreation facility with outdoor recreation and an accessory restaurant tavern. Agenda item 3 is Legistar number 86023, 1917 Moreland Road, which is in Alder District 14. Consideration of a demolition permit to demolish a single-family residence. And then item 4 is Legistar number 86024 at 2809 Royal Avenue in District 14 for consideration of a conditional use in a suburban employment district for a private parking facility. I just want to note Commissioner Asin has joined us. Hello, we were just walking through the consent agenda. And if you have any requests for separation on the consent agenda, now's the time. All right, thank you. So with those 3 items on the consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? I'm sorry, I skipped a step. Let me open the public hearing and close the public hearing on that consent agenda, noting that there are no registrants wishing to speak, although there are registrants available to answer questions. So with the public hearing opened and closed, is there a motion from the group to approve the consent agenda? Alder Duncan, thank you. Is there a second? Commissioner Solheim, thank you. Is there any objection to unanimous consent for the items listed on the consent agenda? And seeing none, we'll record those items as passed unanimously by the commission. Thank you. So that is the entirety of our public hearing agenda for tonight. Is there any business by members that any commissioners would like to raise in the meeting? All right, seeing none, we will move to our secretary's report. Megan.
All right, thank you. The first item on the secretary's report is just a reminder that all of the plan commissioners and alders should have received an email reminding you to fill out your annual statement of interest form. As a reminder, this is related to your code of ethics and your conflicts of interest. So please make sure to do that by January 7th. We will at some point receive a list of anyone who hasn't completed that and need to follow up with you in the early part of the year if there are any commissioners that haven't completed it. But since we won't be meeting again until after that deadline, we wanted to make sure to put that on your radar this evening. If you didn't find an email or if for some reason you can't find access to that statement of interest form using the website listed, please reach out to us and we'll make sure to help you get connected to that information. The recent council actions list is a bit longer than usual just because by the time our last meeting agenda had been posted, we had not had all of the decisions by the council from their November meeting. So you can see a list of the recent rezonings and CSMs and plats, I should say, preliminary plats that you've recently recommended to the council that have been acted on. Notably, some of the larger projects on West Mifflin, West Washington area were recently approved by the Common Council, and the Hill Valley preliminary plat that we looked at our last meeting was approved by the Common Council according to the Plan Commission's recommendations, which included placing on file one of the specific rezonings associated with that plat. There was some additional discussion about that. Thanks to Tim, who is here, and Alder Duncan for helping ask some questions to address some of the questions that we were hearing from nearby residents. After that discussion, the Common Council approved that Hill Valley plat. As we look into January, you can see the list of items that we're starting to tee up for your first meeting in the new year. Of the things on this list, I think, you can take a look at them. One that I will note is that you have received an application. It's Legistar ID 86419 for demolitions at Jefferson Street and Edgewood Avenue. This may sound familiar to you. You may recall that the Plan Commission denied these demolition applications this fall. The applicant initially had appealed that decision to the Common Council, but withdrew that appeal and decided to resubmit this application for your consideration because we found that there was some information about the condition of the properties that was not reviewed by staff or the commission. So the applicant wanted for that information to be reviewed in a new application. So if it sounds familiar, it is. And similarly, there is an item on your list for January 13th that relates to an extraterritorial CSM on Thorson Road to create 2 lots in the town of Sun Prairie. This one is not one that you have seen before, but is very similar to one that you recently reviewed. One that we found that the standards could not be met for and recommended denial. This is a new and different request for a 2-lot CSM. So just wanted to note that. Otherwise, we will be seeing some policy issues early in the new year connected to the city's floodplain standards. That will be an important and timely issue that we will expect the city attorney and the zoning team to help us review with you. Happy to take any questions about the list if there are any.
Any questions for Megan? Thanks, Megan.
Welcome.
Seeing none, does anyone have any announcements to share in the meeting tonight otherwise? And seeing none, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? This has been a quick meeting, so. Thanks, Commissioner Solheim and Commissioner Mendez. For a motion and a second. Any opposition to approval of our motion to adjourn? All right, seeing none, we will stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for your time tonight. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.